A few seconds run off. Hello everyone, this is Calvin Castine and we're coming to you just off Route 11, about a mile or so from Rouse's Point, and we're in front of a store where the sign says LaPet store, and we are talking to
Betty Smith.
And
this is Tiffany, my Yorkshire Terrier.
And your Yorkshire Terrier, Tiffany. Well, Betty Smith, the first question I have got, we have a busy corner here today all of a sudden, is how did you come up with a name like LaPet store?
Actually, the LaPet store was because of the ad LaBat, La Girl, La Fun, and we thought, my son and I sort of thought this name up, which was why not LaPet store instead of Le Pet, which is the proper way. And they would just say, oh well, the Americans don't know any better, but we do.
Are you Americans?
No, actually I'm Acadian from New Brunswick, raised in Montreal. I have been here since early 80s, and I'm an American citizen now.
Oh, so...
Yeah, I am American now.
Well, Canadians consider themselves Americans too, only they're North Americans, right?
North Americans, it's all America. Yes. Exactly.
Okay, so you've been here, you said, since the early 80s?
Mm-hmm, yes, living in this house since the early 80s.
Before that it was Bob Lutz, I believe, that owned it?
Exactly, Bob and Bob, that's who we bought the house from.
Okay, and what got you involved in pets? Are you a pet lover from way back?
Always had pets. I remember when my son was about 10 years old and he was sick. He was in bed, and I have pictures of him with about 8 animals in bed with him. So we all...
Maybe that's why he was sick.
Maybe, who knows? Actually, I got involved in the pet store because my husband passed away 3 years ago, December 8th. And it was 5 weeks from the day they told him he had cancer, he died. So it was very, very quick. And I had to do something. So I put myself into work. I suppose this was my way of coping with the passing of someone so close and so quickly. Rather than go into a depression and say, what do? I have to do something. I basically was alone, and he left nothing. So I worked 16, 17, 18 hours a day for 6 months, and almost 6 months of the day, I opened the store.
I remember...
About 3 years in May. And I had a lot of help, I must say. My son was fantastic in helping me. We made these signs. All the signs that you see were all made with my son, myself, and a couple of his friends. Their 2 sons mowed the lawn. I mean, they came every weekend. And I couldn't have done it alone. And you know, the property is much, much too big. And they did tremendous in helping me. The son, one of the boys who was about 16, a great artist, he designed the big dogs and the cats, and the father cut them out, and then one leathered them and one did this, and we all chipped in and did that. It was, you know, a lot of help. Yeah.
And you've been successful for 3 years now, and for people who haven't been here in a while or have never been here, but particularly people who haven't been here for a while, you've really got a lot more inside than when you first started.
Absolutely. Excuse me. I made sure that when I opened the doors that I had 2, 3 of each product. So when people came in, it was, yeah, she's in business. This is not, well, let me try it, see how it goes. I was determined. I was going, no, everybody had to go to Plattsburgh. Unless you went to a small store that maybe they had 1 or 2 different products there. But you wanted something particular, you had to go to Plattsburgh. And my knowledge of animals and loving animals, having this building also was lucky on my part, that if I had to go out and rent a place, I couldn't have made it. Not in the beginning. Because I was balancing the cash probably once a month, $200. And it was like, you know, oh God, you'd wait all day, nobody would come in. And you say, oh, what did I do? What did I do? But perseverance, 7 days a week. I was open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week. And, you know, I'm still open 7 days a week, and my hours are still from 10 in the morning till 9 most nights, I say. And people are wonderful. The local people are fantastic. They've been so supportive. They will actually call me to find out if I have something that they want, or if I don't, can I get it for them? And people have actually just in the past week said, well, I was shopping in Plattsburgh. I could have bought it there, but I waited till I come back. And I thought, hey, great, you know. But I do also the same thing. And that is a learning process, I think, for everybody. Okay, that we don't think about it until we're in that position or that situation. Irving Eye Care, I saw it on your program. In fact, that he comes and shops here. I didn't even know that he had this. I saw this program, which I thought was fantastic. It was very well done.
Thank you.
And I called him up. I said, Bill, I didn't know that was you. And I said, you come in this all the time. I have got my contacts from him. I just picked him up last Wednesday. And his service is well. The price is good. He's local. Why not?
I've always felt that the backbone of a community is locally owned and operated businesses, and what you're saying is, been my philosophy and what Hometown Cable has tried to be all about since right from the beginning, and encourage people to support their local business people, because when the fire department goes around, when the Boy Scouts or whoever goes around looking for contributions, it's the local people, the local business people who dig in their pocket and help out. I know at St. Mary's, the local businesses always bend over backwards at the school. And
Exactly. I understand. I mean, whenever the firemen come or anybody that comes for a donation, I'm not very lucrative at the moment. I'm still struggling. I'm managing. I'm paying my bills. I have no debts, thank God. But I'm certainly not, going to be going to Florida or anything. I can't even take like 2 days off, but I'm working on it. Mm-hmm. And if somebody comes and they say, okay, I will give a small donation, what I like is a lot of times they're going to have something that they will raffle off, and that is great. Then I will give them, something to raffle off, which is good.
Okay, let's go inside. It's a nice day out here, nice and comfortable, but I think we'll see a lot more if we go inside. And I should mention before we go inside, usually when I do Business Beat, it's just a tripod and me, but today we're breaking in our new salesperson, Mr. Paul Hameline has got the camera. And for all you business people out there, you should be seeing a lot of Paul Hameline. He's going to take a big load off my shoulders of something I haven't been able to keep up with, is the advertising end of all this. And Paul will be out there knocking on doors, and he's one of the reasons why we're here right now. In fact, he is the reason why we're here right now. And right now we're going to go inside. Okay, we have come inside, and Tiffany is still with us. Is Tiffany with you 24 hours a day, Betty?
Just about, yes. She follows me everywhere.
Just a heck of a variety of items that you've gotten here. So it's a lot more than just pet food that you deal with.
Yep, pet food and supplies, and pretty well for all kinds of pet, even pot-belly pigs, and some horse feed, and the gerbil, the hamster, the guinea pig, lizards, turtles, iguanas, just about whatever you can think about.
Horses?
Horses I do. I'm not selling a lot of it, so I'm not going to promise I'm going to carry it forever unless somebody wants to come and encourage me.
Okay, but for the time being, you do have it. So just...
Oh, yes.
If they can call it a pet, you can feed it. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yes, I can, for llamas, for whatever that they think of, even turkey food, originally I couldn't. I know there were people that asked me, but now I can get just about anything.
Well, the turkey kind of leaves the pet area, though, doesn't it?
Doesn't it? Yes. But there are people that do have them as pets.
So it's really animal feed, and don't necessarily have to be a pet, because
exactly.
Not too many people have turkeys for pets.
That's right, yes.
If they do, they only last a year.
Uh-oh. No, not the pet ones.
Okay, besides food, what are some of the other things that you're probably think that people ought to know about in here?
Besides the food, I would probably emphasize the flea and tick. That I do have just about everything that you can think of.
Is that over to the our right, but Paul's left? If you can just throw the camera down there, Paul, if you want. There are the shampoos, there is dips, there is foam for cats and dogs. Cats, there are also sprays, but cats do not like water. With the dips, with the shampoos, you obviously have to put water on, which they don't like. They also don't like sprays. And we're talking about quite a few cats. There are cats that are bathed from birth almost, and they are apt to it, no problem. But most of the cats are not. So they offer the foam, which the foam I think is great. It doesn't frighten the cat, and it doesn't wet the cat with water. There's also a product called Hop Off, which you can give your dog or cat. It's a vitamin supplement. You put it on the food daily, and when the fleas go on the dog or the cat, they hop off. That's where it comes from, the word hop off, because when they bite, they don't like what they get. They don't like the scent and the odor and the taste, so they don't bite the animal. They hop off. Therefore, they will die, because the blood is what feeds them, and now they have no more nourishment, so they will die. Okay. And Where do these fleas come from? How would they?
The fleas mostly cats are carriers, unfortunately. Cats will carry them. Fleas come from outside, from sand. You have sand fleas, you have different types of fleas. And mostly the dogs going outside will pick it up much more than dogs that are in enclosed area, that have, enclosed kennel area.
So if you let your pet out for a midnight stroll and he comes back in, he could be picking up fleas.
Yes, it's not saying they will, but then you have the flea collars, you have the sprays and the powders that repel the fleas. So all the dogs or cats should be, I'm sorry, sweetheart, should be protected. And the main thing is the prevention, okay? The prevention, if we prevent the flea, we prepare the animal, then we don't run into the problem. If we see one single flea on an animal, we immediately take action, because then one flea, you say, oh, well, that's no problem. Yes, it is a problem, because they multiply so quickly. I'll put you down.
Okay, Tiffany wants to run loose, but he's down there in the cat land.
I think she was getting tired of being held.
Does Tiffany get along with your cats?
Oh, definitely. I have 4 dogs and 6 cats of my own. Not counting these 2.
These 2 here are for sale?
These 2 are for sale, and they are from my litter. The father is a Chocolate Point Siamese, and the mother is Pilot Siamese. And they all had a brother and a sister that I sold, and I have these 2 left.
Okay, and you got some other furry varmints over here. What are those?
Yes, they're lop-eared fuzzy rabbits, and actually a good friend of mine, Casey Bartley, who lives down the road, raises these rabbits and shows rabbits. And she has a wonderful, wonderful setup. I mean, it's a daily thing that she has to brush the animals and to clean them and feed them, and it's immaculate. It's beautiful. And these particular ones don't have papers, but all the others are pedigreed rabbits. And so we worked out something that people can come in and see her rabbits and know that she has other ones and sell them. And then obviously, if they have that, they need a cage, so I can sell them a cage.
Well, certainly. And some rabbit food besides, right?
And some rabbit food, yes. And treats.
Treats?
Oh, rabbits, all kinds of treats. Yes.
Wow, I know bugs like carrots. So what else would you give a rabbit besides carrots?
On these stand over behind Paul, you can see all kinds of treats for ferrets, for guinea pigs, for rabbits, for hamsters, you name it. I have rabbit shampoo, ferret shampoo, ferritone, which is a vitamin for ferrets, and all the treats.
Okay, so selling pets, you don't have a supply of dogs for sale, or you just got a couple of cats right now and a few
Yeah.
rabbits and maybe a bird or two? Your birds are for sale?
Yes, I have. This is Gossamer up here. He sort of has a big cage to fly around, and as you can see, he's not caged in.
He hasn't run out the door yet?
No, he's wonderful. I'm not concerned because he doesn't. He just stays around, flies around every once in a while, and hey, sweetheart.
Whoops. Looks like that cat's going to use you as a scratching pole.
Yes, but they're very friendly, very sweet. No bite, don't scratch. They're wonderful.
But you do have a scratching pole for sale too,
I
don't
do.
you?
Mm-hmm. I have a little condo one there, and I also have that one behind the sign, which is just an ordinary, regular one. And I do sell this food.
Okay, and I see fish over there. You have a supply of
Yes, fish is something.
goldfish or exotic fish or whatever.
I do. I have tropical fish. This is all the dog foods. This is dog treats, which are very popular. All the collars, the leashes, the harnesses.
And if you don't get your dog spayed, you're going to need to buy one of these, right?
Exactly. Very good. Exactly. Then they have little kerchiefs for dogs. And behind you also we have some dog coats, T-shirts, little summer T-shirts, little sweatshirts, little, let's see what we got here. These are little bomber jackets and little hats, all kinds of little things. And up there is all the cages, carrying cages for pets.
Now, I know people buy jackets and hats for their pets, but
absolutely, yes.
I don't think I ever would.
No,
No.
why not? They look so sweet, and they think they pounce around and say, "Look at me, look at me."
Well, you probably have a different appreciation for your pets than I do. Yeah.
Well, we're all different in life, and something else that might interest you may not interest me.
Mhm.
You know, and
That's
so
right.
that's the way I look at it. It doesn't mean because I'm not about animals that everybody in the whole world has to be.
Right.
Oh.
Yes, and obviously there's a market for these. Otherwise,
Mhm.
they wouldn't
Very much so.
wouldn't be made. Yes. These aren't one size fits all now, are they?
No, no, you have all different sizes. In fact, if you look at the chart, they have a chart on them. Probably this one. Yes, it has a chart. There you go.
See, we're learning all kinds of things
these,
here.
All these sizes.
So they give you the name of the dog
The
and then
name of the dog.
the size that should be appropriate.
Mhm. Yep.
So that way, when you come in here, you don't say my dog is about this size or
Yeah,
it
exactly.
weighs
It's
such
a
and
little
such.
difficult to do that, but if you
But
know
if you know the breed,
and then I say, as I say to the people, fine, take it home and try it, and or what is preferable is to bring the dog in, and try it on. Okay, like collars and leashes. It's very difficult with a collar or a leash. If you come in and you have say a pet, and you say, well, the neck is this big. Right? And then actually you go home and the neck is only this big, because we all tend to think it's a little larger, or
Right.
it might be this big, and we only got this side.
yeah.
Harnesses are also something that's very difficult because you have to measure around the girt area. But like I say, bring it home, don't take it off it. If it doesn't fit, don't worry, just bring it back.
Now, do you have a dressing room for these dogs, or do they have to get dressed right out here in the store?
All right in the store, unfortunately, yes, but sometimes we'll turn our back if they're shy.
Okay, we're going to relocate and pick up on this. Okay, I have something here that no dog should be without. It's Petrodex breath strips. Do dogs worry about bad breath at all?
I don't think they do, but the people who have them do worry about it. And a main cause of bad breath is the teeth are not cleaned in a proper manner or not cleaned often enough. And dogs and cats are like people, that sometimes we can go and we can abuse ourselves and abuse whatever and doesn't matter. Other times we take care of it tremendously, and then what happens? We still have a problem. We have to go to the dentist. So, and because the pets, we're responsible for them. So it's up to us to feed them good food, to take care of the teeth and all the health problems. It's like having children. And the child may say, well, but I don't want to eat that. I want to eat ice cream. Or I want to eat candy. Or I want some chips. And we know that, well, you can't have that all the time. You have to have a proper diet. We are responsible for animals, and we have to do that for them because they're not obviously intelligent enough to make the proper choice.
Now, it sounds to me like, since you are such an animal lover, that people can kind of come here for advice too, rather than just figuring this is a place to stop and pick up supplies. You have a knowledge of animals?
Mm-hmm. Well, because I've had so many animals through the years, and also a lot of reading and a lot of interaction, I think that's probably, life is a learning process. We're always learning. I have people that come into the store and they'll ask me a question about something, and then I give them an answer. And then in the conversation, they'll mention something that I didn't know. Then I can pass that on to the next person that comes in and wants that type of information. I do obedience training. I've been in that for quite a long time, which I enjoy tremendously. You learn through the years all these little things, through a few books, through people, and I've attended a few seminars, which I'm looking forward to continuing on now.
Okay, you just said you do obedience training.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So if people get a new puppy and they want to get it so that it isn't going to do all the things that puppies shouldn't do,
Okay.
they can come see you?
They sure can. And I do the one-on-one training, which is a half-hour session, or I do a 2-week session when I bring the dog in the morning, whatever time they go to work, pick it up in the evening when they come back. The dog stays with me Monday to Friday, all day, each day, for 2 weeks. They have the dog home on the weekend. I then, in turn, show the individual when they come each evening what I did and how they should proceed. Because if you don't tell the person or teach them, then the dog may get totally confused, because you may be telling him something contradictory to what I've, or showing him something contradictory. Same as when you say to a dog, sit, or you want the dog to go down. Most people will say lay down or sit down. Sit is one command, down is another. It confuses, but once the dog gets that little light bulb in and says sit means sit, they understand. It may take a little bit, but once in a while it connects. Bang, oh yeah, now I understand. So they sit. Then you work on the down. So the sit is one word, the down is one word. But after the 2-week session, the dog can basically heel, sit, stay, come obviously, down. And the stay basically is stay, which a lot of people don't know. When you say to your dog, stay, that means stay until I come back. And it's basic, we're learning. And we'll say stay, and we walk away, and the dog stays, and we're happy. We're very happy, which is nice. He stayed, and come with me, come. No, because if you make the dog come, that's the dog has said, well, you just told me to stay, now you're calling me.
So you go
stay.
back to the dog.
You go back, and obedience is like the best thing you can give your animal. Say your dog is across the road, and he knows the word stay. There's a car coming. He sees you. He wants to run to you, obviously. You say, stay. Okay? The dog stays. Now, if you say stay, and then he's waiting for you to call him, he may get a little too excited because he said, oh, well, I waited long enough. She should have called me by now. Okay? And then this way the dog will stay, knowing that he must stay until you go to him. And then you go to him, walk around him, and then praise him a lot. The praise is the main thing. And then you have a dog that you maybe save his life. Who knows?
Okay, and obviously you can only do this one dog at a time. You don't take 2, 3 to handle for a whole week.
No. Usually one dog if I'm going to take him for a 2-week session, because it's an interaction. It's a constant interaction. The first day I introduce them to who's ever around, whether it's boarders or groomers or my own dogs, and it's association day. The second day I start with the heeling and the sitting. The first day I may play with the dog, like come, and like that, and play with them, and always pet him and praise him because he came. So he learns that coming is a good thing. Another tip I hope I could give the people, that is when the dog is outside, especially a young dog, they play. You call your dog towards you, and then the dog doesn't come. All of a sudden the dog becomes deaf. I
have a deaf dog.
No. And they play. We get very aggravated, which is normal. It's very normal. We get aggravated, and then when the dog finally decides to come to us, we scold the dog. The dog associates come
with the scolding.
And they say, well, why should I come? You can only do that 2 or 3 times, then you have a hard time to retrieve your dog. Also, when the dog does come to you, you play with it outside for a little longer, so it doesn't associate with come, end of my playtime in the house. Play with it, make it fun. Run in, say, come on, let's go. We're going in the house, good, and play with it. So it's a good association. Come means good, a good word.
Okay, so I have a dog that, with our new leash law, the dogs are not supposed to roam around, and I'd let him loose, and when it was time to be tied up, I'd call him and immediately tie him up. So he'd assume, instead of if I'd played with him for 3-4 minutes, then tied him up, he would associate.
That would be a lot better. Then he would not associate it, and then go and tie him up, and even when he's tied up, you play with him a few more minutes, and he'll be happy.
Okay. How old an animal could you deal with? Obviously, a puppy would be easier to train than an older dog, because we all know that old dogs can't learn new tricks.
Not so.
Not true.
Not so.
We don't know that. We assume that. That was what's wrong.
No. I had a Doberman who was 7 years old and did not know, really. Probably sit was the only thing this dog knew.
And bite.
And bite. No. Wonderful dog. It was wonderful. Great disposition. Within 3 half-hour sessions with this dog in my kitchen, not outside, just in the kitchen, 3 half-hour sessions, he was walking, heeling, and sitting with no leash. I was proud of that dog. He was 7 years old and he had no training. So you can teach an old dog new tricks, right? Even humans.
This old dog takes a long time to learn new tricks. What have you got in your hand?
This is what they call the black light. Okay, and the black light will detect all odors, your stains, in your house, in the carpet. You have pets. They may make a mistake. And if they do make a mistake, you clean it up. Later on, you have an odor, and you say, well, I did clean it, but now where is it? And there may be 2 or 3 places, and you don't want to walk around, stick your nose all over to try and find it.
No, because then when you find it, you wish you hadn't.
Yes.
Okay.
So this, you turn the lights off and you plug this in and you put it around, and it's amazing. It's like crystallizes, and it shows, and the people who have used it come back and say, "God, I don't believe it. This is wonderful." It really does show. It will show you where there's no stain, but there's an odor. It will bring it out, because you may look at it and say, "Well, gee, there's nothing there," but this will definitely bring it out. I rent these.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yes, absolutely. You can buy them, and you can also rent them.
Because it's not something you may need that often enough to own one, but you may need it periodically. And
Periodically, exactly. Yeah.
so you answered my question before I even had a chance. It must be that training you have with animals that makes you so perceptive.
And also, then if you do find the spot, then I have all the products to eliminate odors. They have enzymes in them. They work fantastic. Different companies, different, basically they're all good. And they do work. They work fantastically. I have tried every one of them myself. Since I'm boarding, since I'm grooming, since I'm have my own pets, obviously you're going to have one that's going to make a mistake. You immediately put paper on it, paper towels, soak it up, pour whatever product that you have on it.
Skunk remover there and skunk odor remover.
Yes, also the skunk remover, different kinds of that. This is a flea and tick, not to go back to that, which is probably one of the best products you could get. You spray it directly on your dog. If he has fleas, it just falls off. It's just a mist that you spray. And you spray it on your carpet, and it kills fleas for 210 days. Flea cycle is 200 days.
So it's 10 days beyond the cycle.
Yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. And the rest of the stuff is probably, deworming for cats and dogs. If your dog bites and scratches and chews a lot, this is a deterrent, and it helps the dog stop scratching and itching. And vitamins, and then the rest of our grooming products, basically.
We even have baby bottles over there.
Which, it's amazing. You would not believe how many people come in for that, because they find little kittens, they find rabbits that the mother's been scared away for whatever.
Puppies, even.
Puppies, or the mother, like one lady came in, I can't remember, 5 or 6 kittens, and she bought a whole big thing of powder to mix for them, to feed them, because the mother was sick and couldn't take care of them. So there's all different reasons why, but
Okay, you have pet dishes to feed them in, and what brands of pet food do you deal in?
The Eagle and the high ration, which the high ration is all my Eagle, say the Nutramax, Iams, Eukanuba, Hill Science Diet, Pro Plan, Nature's Recipe, are all excellent foods. You have to find the one that's right for your animal. If you have a dog that's on the thin side, you want to build them up, then I would definitely suggest the Eukanuba, because it has a lot of protein, it has chicken fat in it, it's very rich. If you have a dog who is a Samoyed, a Dalmatian, they tend to be hyper. You don't want to give them that type of food. You would go more on an Eagle brand, which is a lot better. It basically was brought out for a larger breed and for a hyper breed. Less protein, less fat, excellent product. This is also, which is the high ration, which is a great product, but the price is a lot better. You can get a 50-pound bag for $18.50, okay, which is, compared to supermarket, 50 pounds, $18.50 is very good. Plus you buy 15 bags, you get your 16th bag free. Also on the Eagle, you buy 12 bags, you get your 13th bag free. It's a program. This here has meat meal as the first ingredient. And that is good. If you look at the supermarkets, there's not one that has meat meal as the first ingredients. Probably the 3rd or 4th one down. They have a lot of byproducts. They have a lot of corn, soya. These have no soyas in it. The fillers are not the first ingredients. And that is the main thing to look at when you're looking at any foods, to make sure you have meal, lamb meal, chicken meal, meat meal as the first ingredients, or at least the second ingredients.
Because the ingredients are listed in order of volume.
Exactly, yeah, and most of them is filler. My Bouviers weigh 130 pounds. They're on the Eagle mixed with the Nutramax.
Well, what would be a filler? What words are we looking for if we're looking at filler?
Let me see if I can get the fillers on this. Would be further down. You would have corn, beet pulp is actually. See, this is there's
There's
filler.
nothing bad in there, so you can't use that, right?
No.
Well, if you have any questions, what's your number here, Betty?
Yes, 297-2039.
2039. That's our ages. I'm 39 and you're 20.
Oh, gee, how'd you know that?
Just a guess. Just a good guess. Okay, we're going to probably be talking about grooming next. Anything else in this corner that we should be looking at before Paul? Wild bird seed.
All natural cookies, biscuits. The ingredients are so good that we could eat them ourselves. And then
If one disappears, we'll know the cameraman grabbed one.
they smell like granola bars. They're excellent. You also have all the bird seeds for parrots and cockatiels and finches and all the beddings and the alfalfa, canned for birds, sickle seeds.
You even have bird's nests up there. What?
Yeah.
Why would a person buy a bird's nest?
Well, if they wanted to put it in a cage, depending on the size of the bird, that they want to lay eggs in it. There's different kinds of usage for it. And then, of course, you have all the toys and things for birds, cages for little animals. I do have gerbils. Gerbils and bunnies are probably the only thing that I would carry as far as pets, because I don't like keeping them in cages, especially dogs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
To confine them.
they're not made to.
24 hours a day.
No.
It's a shame.
Do you board animals here at all? Do you have any type of a kennel or just
I do at the house. Yeah, I board at the house.
those people are taking off for a week or two and they need a place to bring their pet?
Yeah, and I do have a lot of comebacks because it's a different concept of boarding. I board in the house. They have the freedom of the house, and they sleep on my bed and around my bed, and sometimes I say, I don't have room for myself.
You got too many pets. And we're at LaPet store, which is a name that was here on purpose. Now, is pet the French word for pet?
No, pet is, well, yes, I suppose they would probably say, I'm trying to think, I should know this, shouldn't I? A pet is un animal. I don't know if there is an actual translation. You got me there. I must look that up in the dictionary.
We finally stumped
it.
her.
Was in French. How about that?
But it's been a while. You're 20 years old, so you've been out of school 2 years.
Well, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so the name LaPet is on purpose. It's not, she didn't think that was the right way of saying it when she did it, and she knew she was
yeah.
having a little fun with it. Okay, now we're going to probably go to the grooming, so don't go away. Okay, this is one of those wind-up things that won't go off the table. You just wind it in different directions, and it'll just stay on no matter. Actually, it's an animal. What is it?
That's
it looks like one of these.
Yes, it is. Yorkshire Terrier. That's Maggie May.
Maggie May.
Maggie May. We'll show you the before, and then we'll show you the after. She's going to be groomed.
All right. Zoom in there, Paul. We're going to show before her. Maggie May, over here. There you go, Maggie May. Okay. And who's our groomer here?
This is Alan Burke.
Alan Burke?
Yes.
Well,
They named a town near Malone after you, Alan.
almost.
Almost?
And
You've never heard of Allen, New York?
No, I've been to Burke, New York, though.
That's the one I was talking about.
And Alan is from Malone.
Is he?
Yes.
Related to the Burke family. That Burke town must have been named after somebody.
I'm not quite sure on the history of it.
You ought to find out.
I oughta. But I don't, I'm mostly from the Stark family. And the Burke family is another part of this. But the Stark and the Burke was around. So I don't know where
Okay.
it comes from.
And how long have you been a groomer?
Just a couple weeks now. I went to school 2 years for grooming, and I just graduated in May, and Betty's giving me my first run of grooming.
So you're kind of like a doctor gets out and has his little year or so of training. This is what you're getting, some on-the-job training here?
Yep.
Okay. Well, good luck with, was it Becky Sue? Whoever?
Maggie May.
Maggie May.
Rod Stewart's Maggie May.
Rod Stewart. Okay, Rod Stewart's Maggie May. I'm more with Buddy Holly's Peggy Sue.
Oh, wow. I like that too.
Okay, what have we... Now, Sam was here yesterday. I was somewhere else, and these grizzly bears here, we did take a before shot of these guys. So I'll superimpose that over us right now. And then Paul can probably back up. We'll get them in the light here, Paul. And we'll see if we can show the after of these. I know these are not grizzly bears. What are they?
This is they are Bouvier de Flandre, the Belgium herding dogs, and they're mainly used for herding cattle because of their size. And instead of nipping at the heels like most sheepdogs
You'll
do,
pick them up and carry them.
but just about. No, actually, they use the body and side swipe them and keep them in line, so there's less incidence of getting kicked in the face or maimed or whatever. Very, very obedience animals, as you can see. Say exactly.
Most cattle
Good
animals, collie or whatever, are very teachable. They're very smart animals. That's why they. That's why they were trained.
Up. Good boy. See, cookie.
I think they both want that. I think all three of them want that cookie.
And this is Zachary Scott, and this is Olivia Newton-John. And actually, we did have a picture yesterday before they were groomed, and they were groomed this morning. And we gave Zachary a cut that is much closer to show the difference that can be done. If a person wants the dog shaved, then this is basically what we would do. Come, Zachary. Come. Good boy. Come. Good boy. We would not shave them down to the skin. But as you can see, it's close, but it still looks, quite attractive. Whereas Olivia, we left her a little bit longer. We trimmed her eyes and her ears and around her paws and did give her a little shorter on the back and in the undercoat.
Does the average dog need to be involved with haircuts at all, or does nature kind of take care of their shedding and so on?
No, dogs of
Tiffany,
any type of breed that the hair will grow. If you're talking Shih Tzus, Lassos, Poodles, Pekingese, you can trim them, and but you have these. If you don't, this hair would just grow and grow and grow and grow. A poodle would grow and grow and grow to a certain extent, and you just.
It's like human hair.
Yeah, exactly.
But it would stop eventually?
Well, I suppose it would. I mean, I think eventually human hair also does.
Well, it gets to a point it slows down, I think.
Yeah,
I don't think it ever
would
stops.
say the same. But then you're going to have a dog that can't see because of the eyebrows are not trimmed. A lot of the cataracts are due to the fact that the hair isn't left in the eyes too much.
Okay. You have pets in your home all the time, and one thing that people who have pets in their home are concerned about is the aroma of the home. Tell us why you don't have a problem with that.
Well, I don't have a problem because I sell a product which called the Dander Odor Eliminator, made by Nature's Miracle. And 2 ounces of it, it's a 16-ounce bottle which sells for $8.95. Sounds like a lot, but it's not. Because you take 2 ounces and you put it in a 10, 16-ounce bottle of shampoo, whatever you have, and then shampoo your dog as regular. And it kills all odors for 4 or 5 months. Now, my Bouviers were groomed as far as they were clipped and brushed and combed. They have not had a bath for 3.5, 4 months, and they don't smell doggy. And it is amazing product. So even if you do have a dog, say that a poodle or Shih Tzu or whatever that needs grooming, we have to groom them anyhow. But it's like every 6, 8, 10 weeks, depending on the individual, how often they want to bring it. You have an appointment and it's 10 or 12 weeks down the line, and you say, oh goodness, my dog is starting to smell that doggy. I'll be so glad when it goes to get groomed. Well, you know you're going to get it groomed anyhow because you have to get the hair done, get it shorter, whatever. But you don't have to put up with that doggy odor while you're waiting for your next appointment.
Okay, so any of you people out there with doggy odor problems, now you know how to take care of it. And if you weren't paying close attention, I am sure that Betty would be willing to tell you again if you stop into LaPet store. We're going to look at some grooming. Okay, we have moved to the grooming area. And that ugly dog we saw before is now a beautiful swan.
Say hello, Maggie May. Yeah, say
Hello
hello.
there, Peggy Sue.
Well, we got a new name for you now, Peggy Sue. I like that. Probably be my next animal will have that name.
Oh, good. I'll feel honored. And so people can bring their animals here and they can come in looking shabby and go out looking beautiful like Maggie May. Wake up, Maggie May.
Somebody took the cookie.
Oh, there it
Somebody got
is.
the cookie. Hey, Maggie.
Alan was eating the cookie.
Yeah, the cookie's bigger than her head.
Okay, anything else you want to tell us about the grooming
Well,
part?
the grooming room, no, I guess it's just your average grooming room. I insulated the area and
Is it mainly cats, dogs that you groom? People,
mainly dogs, but we...
people bring in cats?
In fact, yesterday, Alan and I, we did shave 2 bunnies down, and we do clip the bunnies' nails. We do cats if they need any flea defleeing or deskunking. So far, it's been basically dogs, cats, and rabbits, right? Yeah.
So, if people have a pet that's been skunked, you will be willing to... Of course, the problem is getting them here. It's probably better to buy the stuff and do it at home, huh?
Oh, we've done quite a few deskunking. Oh, absolutely. In fact, one dog that was quite bad, and we had to do it 5 times before we could get the odor out of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoops.
I think he had a cookie.
They wanted that cookie. Okay, let's go look at that kennel area if we can. Okay, maybe Paul can just show us where we came from here. I think he started to do that, but that's where we were, from in the house. We've gone through a couple of rooms, and now we're going out into the kennel area, which is a place for the animals to run around. This is a border here, this beagle, or it's not a beagle, it's a hound. What is it?
This is a beagle. And this
It is a beagle.
Buddy Badger.
Buddy Badger.
And Buddy's been with me several times. And Buddy sleeps on the bed with me, as quite a few of the boarders do. They have the freedom of the house, and they bring their own food, and they just get along with everybody else. And once in a while you do have an incident, but you sort of take care of it quickly, and separate the dogs if necessary for a short period of time, reintroduce them. Mainly, I probably had 2 incidents, and that was all since I've been boarding.
So for the most part, the newcomers do get along because your animals are so used to it. It's just a matter of the newcomer getting used to the other animals, right?
Yes, yes. Zachary was a little standoffish in the beginning. He wanted, this is my territory, what are you doing here? But he really couldn't care less now.
Okay, and the bring your own food part is, as you said earlier, you want the animals to keep their own diet that they've had right along, so that's...
Yes, changing an animal's diet drastically may cause problems in their bowels. And a lot of people will change a food drastically and then say, oh, this food is not good because of this particular bowel problem, not realizing that it takes a little bit of time for the dog to adjust to that particular food. You should change gradually, very gradually.
Well, just like humans, if you suddenly get into a high fiber diet or something along those lines, you're going to find changes in your own body.
It works the same way.
Okay.
So they have the run of this, which is quite a large area, goes directly from the house, and and it works very well. And the people who come are very happy because they obviously come back and they realize that the dog is content when they go home.
Probably more content here than they are at home, but we won't get into that. All right. I think we are just about out of battery, so we want to thank Betty Smith.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I think you have a wonderful, wonderful program going.
Oh, well, thank you. Glad you enjoy it. And we're going to sign off, and our thanks to Paul Hameline for running the camera. We've been at LaPet store between Rouse's Point, about a mile from Rouse's Point on Route 11, between Rouse's Point and Champlain.